It's a busy day. Some may say an unnecessarily busy day. 15 games on in the NBA. Let's give it a preview and let's listen to Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and when I was young, I was the mascot for Tucker Bag. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Start your season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers place a $5 bet and get $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. Also check out LockedOnDaily.com to check out the newsletters for your favorite team. Whatever your team is in the NBA, just check out LockedOnDaily.com. Double bang here, of course, and give the thumb and leave a comment on the video. We have got the 15 games on every single team plays on Monday. No teams play on Tuesday. I'm not going to really go through streaming or streams of the day or anything like that because who cares? Like, we're not streaming anything realistically. Every team plays, you're going to have a completely full roster. Now, I will talk about guys that are streamable players in each game. Just in case you've got multiple injuries, a spot opens up, or the guy that is streamable is better than your worst guy who was on the droppable zone anyway. But we're mainly just going to talk about where we sit with a lot of these games. Of course, injury reports will develop over the day also. Let's take a look at what we know. I just see that as I'm just starting this, a few other injury statuses have popped up, so that's good to know that we get those, and I'll go through those when we get there. First game of the day, we got an interesting development here in that it's Milwaukee and it's Cleveland first game of the day. The Cavs are 6.5 point favorites against the Bucks that cannot win a game. The Bucks we just saw this game 2 days ago. The Bucks play Monday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday next week, and then 3 games in week 4. And the Cavs have the standard Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday with 4 games in week 4. But Giannis is questionable. So Middleton's out. Marshall Beauchamp is out. That doesn't matter. But Giannis is questionable. And if Giannis is out, you're going to get a lot more Taurean Prince and a lot more Bobby Portis. And probably some more Pat Connaughton as well. So that would open up an opportunity to really sort of activate a Bob Portis, or in deeper leagues, try that Pat Connaughton, Taurean Prince scenario. On the Cavs side, Max Strus is out. Karis LeVert missed the last game. I'm going to label him questionable here. Don't have an official update on that yet. And then Jalen Tyson also questionable. But what we do want to watch is Bobby Portis, because after a really strong start to the year, Punch Bob has dropped off. He's back to the area that I thought he'd be at. And he was a guy that I just don't like drafting. He requires an injury to somebody. But otherwise, he's a below average points, above average rebounds player who doesn't really do anything else. He hits some threes, but there's no assists, there's no steals, there's no blocks. He doesn't get to the line and the minutes are low. But if Giannis is going to be out, well, that will help Portis put up some really big numbers. We'll see if this is a long-term thing for Yanni. I don't think so, though. Last game for the Cavs, Isaac Okoro was really good. I think we can ignore most of that, but of course, we want to see whether it repeats or not. In terms of stream guys, Taurean Prince and Dean Wade are the widely available players on either of these teams that could be worth a go, again, if that situation does hit you correctly. The second game of the day, we're talking Golden State and Washington, and this is a day where we've got games starting every 15 minutes. It's a very weird thing. We don't normally get this, but we have got 7, 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, 8, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, 9, 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, 10, 10:15, 10:30 p.m. Every 15 minutes, they're banging out. Warriors go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and then they move into a 2-game week in week 4, while the Wizards are one of the few teams that play 3 games in week 3. They have Monday, Friday, Sunday, and then 4 games the week after. The Wizards have had a very light schedule early on this season, so that means it's going to get busier later on. Who's out here? Well, D'Anthony Melton's out for the Warriors, but Steph might be back. He's been upgraded to questionable, so that's good news for him, but it could be bad news for guys like Hield, Podziemski, Kuminga. Wiggins is actually probable himself, while for the Wizards, Kuzma and Brogdon remain out. We do want to see what on earth happens with John Kuminga, because even with Melton and Curry out, I wouldn't say that he's dominated. He's had some solid games, but he still doesn't push into huge minutes. He's coming off the bench. Does he continue to come off the bench, but do the minutes go to 23? Because if they do, 23 is not enough to hold. And for the Wizards side, Bob Carrington was awesome last game. He got a lot of steals. That hasn't always been his thing, and it wasn't his thing in college. We'll see where that goes from here. But the minutes are very encouraging. The ball handling is very encouraging. efficiency is going to wax and wane, but I like him as a guy to grab. In terms of streams, like the Warrior, Kyle Anderson, that's deep league stuff, but Carrington's probably a guy that I would stream. I don't know that I would start him on Monday, but he's more of a longer-term hold, given the way that he's playing and the trajectory of where that team lands. The Lakers are one of those teams who did just drop an injury report just as I hit record on this, so we'll talk about that in a sec, but they're 6-point favorites here against the Pistons in terms of schedules. Both of these teams play 4 games, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday next week. In week 4, the Lakers go 3 and the Pistons go 4. Christian Wood is out. The Crucifix, Jared Vanderbilt bar is out as well, but then we've got a couple of other injuries pop up. Anthony Davis hurt his hip the other day, so he is probable. Does this start 70 games straight of Anthony Davis on the injury report? Who's to say? Austin Reeves is probable. I reckon we might have started an Austin Reeves streak as well. And then D'Angelo Russell is questionable with a foot injury. He's sort of been on and off the injury report as well. So the Lakers are starting the injury report shenaniganizing, and they keep those guys on there forever, which I guess you could argue is accurate because I'm sure everybody at some point in the NBA is dealing with an injury. But these probable tags and questionable tags, they tend to be a little bit fake from them. Like a probable tag from the Lakers is like a 99% chance of playing, and usually a questionable tag is like a 90% chance of playing, especially with AD and LeBron. On the Pistons, no Asar Thompson, no Bobby Clintman. For the Lakers, Rui Hachimura has turned back into the Rui Hachimura that I know and whatever the opposite of love is. He had some really strong games with big minutes early in the season. He was hitting his shots, and I was like, okay, this is maybe interesting. Like if he plays 38 a night, then he is useful. But it's pushed back to 31. The efficiency's gone back to sort of Rui-ish numbers. The defense has disappeared, and he's turning back into a guy that might be 13-6. That will end up being a drop very quickly. So we see where the role goes. In terms of streams, maybe it's Max Christie. The one to watch for Detroit, who are on a back-to-back here. They're playing Sunday. It's the Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren mix. I'm not going to talk about their Sunday game here. We'll do the recap on that later. That game hasn't even finished yet. That's why I'm not going to talk about it. But Isaiah Stewart's an interesting guy who has cut into Duren's minutes in a few of their recent outings. The Boston Celtics and the Atlanta Hawks. And after I did create this graphic, there was an update to the Celtics side of things, which we'll talk about in a second. Schedule-wise, both teams play 4 next week. Boston is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, while Atlanta is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and then both teams play 3 games in week 4. Porzingis is out, and Jaylen Brown is out. Oh, no, I did actually update it. My bad. Jaylen Brown is out. That's 2 games in a row with a hip, so it's not just a management thing, so we need to watch that. And obviously with Brown out, we saw Luke Cornett start last game and look really good, but we see big minutes from Peyton Pritchard as well, and I expect Pritchard to be the main beneficiary. Cornett maybe, but like that's fluky stuff. Hauser's probable, and on the Hawks side, it's Bogdanovic. Hunter, I'm going to guess, is out. Gobi Bufkin, Vic Krejci. Dyson Daniels, we don't know yet because he is still questionable for the game on Sunday. I'm just double-checking that. He's questionable on Sunday, and then Onyeka Okongwu is questionable Sunday as well. It's a back-to-back. So if Okongwu plays on Sunday, I think he sits Monday. If Daniels plays on Sunday coming off an injury, I expect that he sits Monday as well, but that's not guaranteed. But the fact that Okongwu is listed questionable for Sunday means he's sitting one of these 2 games. We just don't know which one. Drew Holiday's one to watch in Boston because he's obviously not been great. And if I'm in a shallow league, an 8-team, a 10-team, he is on the dropping list. Otherwise, you probably hold a bit more. And in terms of stream guys, well, if Pritchard has not been added, well, that's what you do. And then I put Sam Hauser there, but I reckon we might lean towards Luke Cornett now that Jaylen Brown is out. And then for the Hawks, it's probably Garrison Matthews, although value could drop for him. Or Zach Ricochet if he's available, but, you know, we've seen the ups and downs there. But if Daniels plays, Garrison Matthews probably not quite as robust as a value guy. Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Yes, November is the month for showing gratitude because you guys have something called Thanksgiving and you can give thanks. But maybe you can just start doing it now. Who do you need to give thanks to in your life? Who do you need to be grateful for? Might be your family, might be your parents, just for whatever happened to you growing up. The opportunities you were afforded, the care you were provided, and maybe you're not in the place you are today if you didn't have that. And sometimes we neglect to actually give ourselves thanks as well, but also people around us. And we need to be able to remind ourselves that the world is hard. The world is always hard. There's always difficulties and different ones cropping up, and people have to push through things to be able to provide the best. So give thanks. Give that gratitude out. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Therapy can be a way to be able to recognize those things and put yourself in perspective with what you're doing. Fill out the online form, get matched with a therapist. If you don't like that therapist and there's no connection with you guys, well, you can find another one. And there is no charge. Let gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That is betterhelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Locked on NBA. Okay. Let us go on to the next game, which is the Memphis Grizzlies and the Brooklyn Nets. There is a million injuries to talk about here. The Nets are on a back-to-back. They're playing Sunday as well. The Grizzlies are 6-point favorites here schedule-wise. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for Memphis into 3 games in week 4, whereas Brooklyn's got a 3-game week. They go Monday, Friday, Saturday into 4 the week after. Desmond Bane's out, Marcus Smart's out, G.G. Jackson's out, Vince Williams is out, Luke Kennard is out. John Conchar I had as questionable, but he is now officially doubtful as well. And then for the Nets, Bojan Bogdanovic is out, Trenton Watford is out, Day'Ron Sharpe is out. Ben Simmons is playing Sunday, so he's not going to play Monday. I've just put him doubtful, but he won't play. And I don't know about Nick Claxton. Claxton could be playing. He might not be playing. I'm not sure, just in terms of the back-to-back and his recovery. And hopefully he's able to get back into that starting lineup soon. For Memphis, Zach Edey is what I want to watch. Even with all these players out, he is not doing enough. Now, there's the trade-off. Like, when these guys come back, Edey would presumably lose some stuff, but he could also have gained enough experience to be better, to keep the minutes. I don't think that he's a must-hold at all, and we'll see where that goes. In terms of streams, I love what Jalen Wells is doing. He's one of those players that I think you add, and while all these players are out, we just run with it. Same with Santi Aldama, same with Scottie Pippen, less so with Jay Huff and less so with Jake LaRavia, but there are options there too. On the Brooklyn side, well, if Simmons and Claxton both sit, Noah Clowney surely would have to get an opportunity? Surely? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? It's been annoying. Sacramento and Miami is the next game up for us to take a look at. In terms of the odds, the Heat are 2-point favorites here at home. Both teams play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday in week 3. The Kings go 4 in week 4 and the Heat go 3 in week 4. Who is out? Devin Carter is out. Orlando Robinson is out. Vanderpants Kevin Huerter missed the last game due to illness, and De'Aaron Fox is apparently playing through a finger ligament issue. Now, he's expected to play, but I did just put him as a probable tag just so we're aware there is a finger issue there for Fox. Kevin Love has not played this season due to a personal issue. I put him as doubtful, but actually the news just dropped that both he and Duncan Robinson are expected to play. So we'll see what that does for the rotation, because we saw Alec Burks play a lot more last game. Pele Larson played a lot more last game, and Thomas Bryant's been the backup center. Will Bryant remain the backup, or will it go to Kevin Love? That is one of the things to watch. What else do we want to watch? Well, we want to see what old mate Mike Brown does with Malik Monk, because he was rolling him at insane low minutes, the same as Kevin Huerter. And then last game with Huerter out, we saw him play 38. I don't know if anyone can sit here with a straight face and tell me that Kevin Huerter is a better player with Malik Monk. In fact, you can't. Except if you're Mike Brown. So we'll see what they do with playing Monk and his minutes and how they use him. And then for Miami, Bam Adebayo has had a really poor start, although last game was really good. So what we want to watch with Bam is where the usage sits, 3-point attempt rate, and whether the decent form can continue. Decent form, it's not form. I hate that term. I hate when someone says form and it's one game and I just did it. Josh, uppercut. Stream guys, Keon Ellis, you know that when you're looking for defense, that is what he's going to bring. But if Huerter does play, it's another just squeeze on the minutes. And then Little Chungus Nikola Jovic, he might be good, he might be bad, he might be Gennaro Gattuso, I don't know. The Heat have been pretty frustrating with some of the minutes, like Haywood Highsmith, who'll play 0, then 30. Alec Burks will be out of the rotation, then play 20. It's a little bit hit or miss with some of those guys, and Jovic tends to be one of those, despite the fact that he starts each game. Utah and Chicago is the next game up for us to take a look at. In terms of schedule, Utah only 3 games next week, but 2 quality games. Monday, Thursday, Saturday, into 4 games in week 4, while the Bulls also have 2 quality games, but they got 4 games in total. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, into 4 games in week 4. So it's a very strong schedule for Chicago. Isaiah Collier and Jordan Clarkson are going to be out for Utah. Lauri Markkanen, I'm labeling him as questionable. We don't have an official status yet on Lauri Markkanen. Just double check. No official status there, but the expectation is if he doesn't play this one, it'll be soon. And then Lonzo Ball will be out for the week. John Collins is one I want to watch for a number of reasons. Lauri Markkanen is out. That does not mean that John Collins is getting big minutes, because he's not. He is still playing like low minutes. He is putting up very good numbers. It is always hard to buy into a 22, 23 minute a night player as a must roster 12. At the moment, he is. And then if Markkanen plays, like, where does Collins fit? On the Chicago side, this guy's been amazing. Nikola Vucevic is killing it. He's shooting the absolute lights out. And you know that I think Vuce is a bad player and have for the last 2 years. And honestly, He's been solid this season. I won't say that this team has been good or that he has been an awesome player, but he's been much better. And that's largely just because every shot is going in. I honestly do not think that there is any chance that Vooch remains as this level of shooter, because just go look at the numbers. It's not happening. But at the moment, he's cooking. In terms of streams, Kyle Filipowski maybe, but last game he really did struggle. But he does have a really strong fantasy skill set, much more so than Cody Williams. And then, speaking of Williamses, Patrick Williams is probably the bull stream guy. It could be Io DeSumo, but they're a little bit of a toss-up. Io if a guard misses, but that doesn't look to be the case here. The New York Knickerbockers and the Houston Rockets. That is our next game. The Knicks are favorite here on the road. They're 5-point favorites. Both teams play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday next week, and both teams play 4 games in week 4. Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa are out for the Knicks, and campaign is questionable. Well, for the Rockets, Steve Adams is cool. He missed last game. I'm putting him questionable. Same with Jock Landale. He's questionable too, but I just don't know if they're going to play. There's no official status on those blokes at this point. For the Knicks, OG Anunoby had sort of struggled, and then was really good last game. We sort of want him to sort of settle into what a usage role would be. And then on the Rocket side, well, what is happening with the delicate dancer Alperen Sengun? I tweeted this out yesterday, and I'll say it now. Before last season, I had some skepticism around Sengun, not as a player, not as a fantasy guy, but in the Rockets' ability to believe in him, because they aggressively pursued Brook Lopez, which would have made Sengun a reserve. They didn't get Brook Lopez. Sengun started. He flourished. He was there arguably, if not easily, their best player last season. And then suffered a big injury. And this year he came out, he cooked in game 1. And all of the fears that I had for last season have now reared their head. Ime Udoka pinning all defensive blame on Sengun and marginalizing him and giving tons of usage to Jalen Green. And Sengun played like 20 minutes last game. There was also an issue where Sengun went to the locker room and they asked Udoka about it. He said, I don't know anything about that. So did Sengun crack the shits? Did he petulantly storm off and go to the locker room because he was getting benched the whole way through? I don't know. He played 20 minutes last game, and this is multiple times this has happened to Sengun. And again, my read on it was after the front office gave him that gigantic contract, bigger than Jalen Green's, much bigger, that I thought that, okay, they commit to this. They're committed to him there. But obviously not. It's just a complete switcheroo. Oh, we need to watch it real closely. Jericho Sims is probably the stream for the Knicks, but honestly, who cares? And then Dylan Brooks is getting a lot of minutes at the moment. Of course, we're very closely watching Tari Eason and Amen Thompson, who played 30 minutes each in the last game, but that was a weird game. It was a weird circumstance. It was overtime. It was a 30-point deficit. It was a large comeback. If they go back to 19 minutes a night, then your hope gets crushed down again, like hope usually does through our lives. You know how it is. Charlotte, Minnesota, the next game. Some interesting things to watch in this one. The Wolves are favourite by 9 points. The Hornets go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday into a 3-game week 4. The Wolves go Monday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday into a 4-game week 4. Nick Richards and Mark Williams are going to be out for Charlotte. Both guys could return later this week. Daquan Jeffries is out, and Seth Curry missed the last game. No official update on him at this point, waiting on the Hornets PR. Curry missed that last game, and it did help quite a few other players. What we want to watch is Trey Mann. Now, there was a lot of people wanting to go quickly onto the drop Trey Mann last game after he struggled and Brandon Miller returned. And I get that. I'd like to wait a game or two because it is easily possible for Mann to play 27 minutes a night with Miller there. Easily. It is easily possible for Trey Mann to be the third offensive option ahead of Miles Bridges. It seems that Mann has beaten Bridges into that role. But we'll see how it goes. So I would hold Mann just to see where it goes. Would you hold Mann? On the Minnesota side, Dante DiVincenzo, he's been bad. He has been bad. I was off him in Minnesota. That is looking good so far. Not every call does. We want to see if there's any change in what his role is, or I don't think there will be, but we'll see. Stream guys, Grant Williams is hit or miss. We know this, but it's him or it's Moussa Diabate. So yeah, there are going to be a lot of minutes pumped into him now up against a Rudy Gobert. That's not ideal. But he's going to get more minutes. And on the Wolves side, Jaden McDaniels always going to be available to be a stream option. That is just the nature of his role. Not good enough to hold on to all the time, but always an option to at least try out. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Get ready to tackle NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, you can bet $5 as a new customer and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything that you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. In the middle of a game, you get a hunch, something's happening, and you go, ooh, hang on, hold on, we're seeing something go down. So you open it up, and in that same spot where you would place your live bets, the stats are there, the play-by-play is there. You don't have to go onto different pages, you don't have to have multiple devices running at once, it's all there in that one spot. So if you are a new customer and you head to FanDuel.com and you sign up, you place your first $5 bet, and that first $5 bet wins, you get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, let's get on to the rest of these games now. We've got 6 to go. Yep, 6 to go. Orlando and OKC, the Magic are playing on Sunday still, so we're going to get some updates with them. The Thunder are 11-point favorites here. The Magic go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday into 3 games week 4, whereas the Thunder are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday into 4 games in week 4. Injury-wise, Paolo Banchero is out. I'll be very surprised if Jonathan Isaac plays. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, Jonathan Isaac I don't think has been ruled out. Oh, by the way, we just got news on the Hawks that Okongwu is out Sunday, so he'll play Monday. And Dyson Daniels is playing Sunday, so I guess his status for whatever the day is, Monday, is up in the air. But it's, yeah, so we just got that update. Okongwu out, so he will play on Monday. And Daniels playing Sunday, so I guess questionable there for Sunday. So we don't have anything to suggest that Isaac is missing the game on Sunday, meaning I think there's a risk that John Isaac doesn't, or in fact, I don't think he plays on Monday. And Wendell Carter Jr. and Goga Bitadze are both questionable currently for Sunday. You would think that they don't play both of the games at least, and that's what we need to watch. For the Thunder, it's the same guys. It's Jalen Williams and Kenrich Williams, not the Bronco, but the Pig, and Isaiah Hartenstein all remaining sidelined. Alex Caruso we want to watch for the Thunder. Honestly, I think he's droppable. You cut 21 minutes and 2 points a game isn't enough. Yeah, the steals are nice, but that's what he is. He's a specialist at this point, and they don't seem to be inclined at all to push those minutes to 27. That's a move you do. You move off it. Last game for the Magic, not Sunday, but the game before, Tristan da Silva got red hot. He shot unbelievably from 3, and with Paolo out and Wendell out, we got a big run from da Silva. I don't know that that's going to be the case again. In fact, I have little confidence that he'll be as good as that. But he was, so we watch it. And then Cason Wallace has been a very good stream option for the Thunder, and I think he can continue to do that. He is sort of separating himself, even though some games Wiggins or Joe will do more. Wallace is the more secure, higher floor option in that group. Portland and New Orleans. Both teams obviously won. The next game we go to is Portland and New Orleans. A bunch of injuries here as per usual. The Pelicans are playing on Sunday. Be aware of that. The Blazers go Monday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday next week into 3 games in week 4. And the Pelicans have a weird schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday only. No weekend games. And then 4 games in week 4. Shaedon Sharpe and Rob Williams I'm expecting to be out for the Blazers along with Matisse Thybulle. While CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, DeJounte Murray and Trey Murphy are also out. Jordan Hawkins is questionable. And then we also got a late addition with Zion Williamson questionable with hamstring tightness. So there is a risk here of Zion missing one of these 2 games. Which one? I don't know, but that is a risk that has just popped up. Now, on the Blazers side of things, we want to watch what is going on with Scoot Henderson because Chauncey Billups has cut his minutes way down. And if he's playing 20 minutes a night, I don't know if the upside's high enough to even hold on. So we need to watch that. On the Pelicans, Yves Missi started the last game. Will he do it again? What's his minutes upside? Could he stay out of foul trouble? What happens if Zion is out? Who starts? Javonte Green, probably. And then we really look at Javonte as a nice stream guy. The other stream guy will be Tamani Kamara on the Portland side of things, who just got a consistent role, doesn't blow us away with high upside, but he is always going to be at least doing something good. The next side of this, or the next game to look at, we're going Indiana and Dallas. Dallas also coming in on a back-to-back, but they are 4.5 points favorites here against the Indiana Pacers. Both teams play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday next week, and the Pacers go 3 games in week 4, and the Mavericks go 4 games in week 4. Isaiah Jackson is out for the season, and I am labeling Aaron Nesmith doubtful for Monday, and Andy Nembhard questionable. No official statuses on those, but that's how I am labeling them. While for Dallas, Dante Exum and Maxi Kleber are going to be out. Obi Toppin's one that we want to watch. Now, I think he's okay if you want to have a look in a 12-teamer, because if he plays backup 4 and backup 5, that might be enough. But also, him playing backup 5 could be really bad for this team. So we want to see how he looks. You can stream him in, you can use him, we can consider it, but we want to see how it looks. And then Najee Marshall's probably the Dallas stream, but honestly, Dallas streamers are pretty useful most of the time, assuming correctly that Gaffin and Lively are rostered everywhere. The next game for us to take a squiz out, we're talking Toronto and Denver. We got this game not that long ago, and it was an overtime game where Denver wins. This one is back in Denver. Both teams play 4 games next week. It's Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday for Toronto, the only team with the weekend back-to-back, whereas Denver goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Toronto has 3 games week 4, and Denver a 2-game week. Scotty Barnes, Kelly Olynyk, Bruce Brown are all out, and Emmanuel Quickley is doubtful again. You would hope we get Quickley back soon, but who knows? We just don't know at this point. Jamal Murray dealing with a concussion. He's out. Vlatko Cancar is doubtful, and Aaron Gordon is probable. Ochai Agbaji has been the starter over Jonathan Mobo in place of Scotty Barnes the last couple of games, and he is worth having for now. And then for Denver, I do just want to watch Christian Braun because he has been awesome. He's playing big minutes. The shooting's been great. The defensive stats have cooled, but they're still really good. And he just might actually be a really solid player. I've still got some skepticism, but he's been strong. In terms of streams, like if Abaji's not available, you can stream, or if he is available, you stream him, but Mobo will be the other guy. Last game he fouled out, and he does rack up defensive numbers. And then if Murray is out, which he is out, Westbrook is going to play more. Now, he could be the worst efficiency player in the NBA very comfortably, so just debate whether that's worth having. He could have 10, 8, and 7. He could have 15, 10, and 7, and shoot 20% from both the field and the line. So you judge how those things impact your team overall. The second last game on Monday, we're talking about Philadelphia and Phoenix. The schedule-wise, we've got Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for both teams, and then 3 games in week 4 for Philly and 4 games for Phoenix. At the moment, the only injuries are Joel Embiid and Paul George. I really don't think Embiid's going to play, especially with the investigation into the incident with the reporter. Paul George, I'm labeling questionable, but I don't know. So I want to watch Andre Drummond, because at the moment, he's not a hold as a stash guy because his performance with Embiid out is not good enough. Like, it's fine. You can use it, but it's not one of those ones, I'll just hold and I'll wait when Embiid is back and I'll deploy him again, because it hasn't been good enough to do that. On the Phoenix side, Yusuf Nurkic is very... 10s, he's a drop. 12, he's very close to a drop. It's just not enough. And it's enough of a pattern to suggest that it's not going to be enough. In terms of other options there, Caleb Martin, if Paul George is out, there's a little bit more value in him. And then Mason Plumlee, the cockroach. Even though it's only 20 minutes, there's enough little things that can help in certain circumstances. The final game of an absolutely monster, and again, some may say unnecessary day of 15 games in the NBA, the Spurs and the Clippers. The Clippers are 3.5-point favorites here. Both of these teams play 4 games in week 4, but in week 3, the Spurs go Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and the Clippers go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Kawhi Leonard, and Mo Bamba all going to be out. Chris Paul has really turned it up the last couple of games. Minutes up, offensive aggressiveness up, and he's just got to be rostered. And this is interesting because at the start of the season, he was very, very sort of down. And I guess they're seeing that Steph Castle's not really doing it, and Trey Jones is out. So they need to push Paul more, and it's working. Derrick Jones Jr. struggled last game. He is a nice steal source. He'd been a solid field goal percentage player, but he was really bad in the last one. We watch what his role is and how it evolves. In terms of stream guys, Champagny and Keldon Johnson are the 2 obvious Spurs ones. And when you're looking for some assists plus steals, Chris Dunn is probably the guy I look at over even a Kevin Porter for the LA Clippers. That's 15 games. Enjoy the games. It's more about monitoring and seeing where the value appears after Monday versus streaming guys in for Monday outside of a couple of very specific situations. And if your very specific situation involves you giving me one of the thumbs, just do it right now and leave your comment down below. Subscribe, LockedOnDaily for the .com for the podcast. For the newsletters as well. We are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.